Hey, good morning. Let me start out by saying that we will play it by ear today to find out if a press conference opportunity will be something that will be allowed tomorrow, and it would be based on the weather because we want to make sure that you're all safe coming here if need be, and of course safe going home. Behind me, I have several representatives, mayors that can make comments if they wish. There are some that are making comments. We'll hold questions to the end if you don't mind. There's a good bit we're going to cover today, so we'll try to go through it as quickly as possible. We have State Representative Jeff Bradley, Hilton Head Island Mayor McCann, Bluffton Mayor Salka, Beaufort Mayor Kaiserling, Yamasee Mayor Moore, School Superintendent Frank Rodriguez, County Council Chairman Stu Rodman, and County Administrator Ashley Jacobs. Also, we have Chief Chris Chapman and Matt Clancy, Chief Chapman from Bluffton, Chief Clancy from Beaufort, Chief Alexander from Yamasee, and I know that Port Royal is here, and I'm not sure if Chief Beach is here yet or not, but I know he's going to come down this way. I'm going to save my comments to the end. What I ask of y'all, because of some questions that came forward yesterday, when you step up to the mic, if you would introduce yourself and who you represent, that way everyone will know. Also, questions, when questions are being asked, we're going to try to ask you to be as loud as possible, because that was another concern that listeners had yesterday, is they couldn't hear the question. They got the answer, but they couldn't hear the questions. So let me start with, I'll save you towards the end too, Colonel. So Ashley, if you want to go ahead and start.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Jacobs. I'm the Beaufort County Administrator. The Beaufort County Public Works Coordination Center was activated at 7:30 this morning. Public Works crews will be checking roads and drainage problem areas. The electronic recycling event that was scheduled for Saturday has been canceled. Animal control officers are responding to emergency cases. EMS crews will be pulled from Defusky Island today at 5 p.m. All other EMS services will run as long as weather permits. There has been communication with our traffic signal personnel, the energy and utility services, and other support organizations in preparation for disaster response and recovery. Debris teams have been assigned to support our local fire and rescue operations to address emergency issues as needed. The Ladies Island Airfield is open, the airfield only, but there is no fuel service available. The Hilton Head Airport is open. Our detention center is open and operational and receiving guests. Beaufort Memorial is open and will remain open. Coastal Carolina Hospital in Jasper County is open. Hilton Head Hospital is closed. The county's main phone lines have been updated with closing information, and our county website, www.beaufortsc.gov, has a special section for news-related items to the hurricane, so please visit that site and follow us on social media. Thank you.
Stu Rodman, Beaufort County Council. Just to emphasize what we've been saying in the past is that there's both a water and a wind component to these things, and that we can't overlook both of those. So even if the wind is down a little bit, we still could have a major water event. So don't overlook that.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Bradley. I represent Hilton Head Island and Defusky Island in the South Carolina House of Representatives. I'd like to start off by saying thank you again to you guys for all the work that you have done. You must have thousands of people who have stepped up to help with this, and we greatly appreciate it. The state of South Carolina has the South Carolina National Guard, the Department of Public Safety, they have the State Guard, and the Department of Transportation has thousands of people out in South Carolina. In addition to that, there will be multiple county and municipal representatives like the Sheriff's Department who will be out creating law and order. Make no mistake, in South Carolina, we wish to maintain law and order in the state through this process. You can have chaos with the weather, but we're not going to have chaos in a civil environment. So folks should feel good about that. In addition to that, we are encouraged by what these guys have done. We know that people have chosen to remain, and they need to understand that they do so at their own peril. The services that most folks are used to having access to will not be available under these circumstances, and folks need to be real careful and choose wisely what they want to do. But again, thank you, Sheriff, for all the work that you guys have done.
Good morning, Lisa Salka, Town of Bluffton. Thank you, Sheriff Tanner and this staff. Through their efforts and their leadership, we're ready. The government side is ready. A couple of things just to follow up on from yesterday. Please know Bluffton will not be picking up trash and recycling. Do not roll your cans to the road. Double bag your things just like I've been doing. Keep it in your garage. We will get back on track, I promise you, and we're working to get that sooner rather than later, but not this week. Stay in touch with social media. We're relaying things out minute by minute. Every time we hear from the Sheriff's Department, we're getting it out, and we're doing on-site videos. If you left, thank you. If you're leaving, thank you. Our police department is number one in our town, and along with the Sheriff's Department, it's going to monitor your property, and we're going to keep it safe. So thank you for taking heed to that. The shelter, if you haven't left, I just want you to know I'm going to go out there today. We visit the shelters. The Ridgeland Shelter is the place to go if you're just worried about going too far west. Just go there. You can take your pet, follow the directions. Sheriff and I both said we go there in a heartbeat if we weren't forced to stay where we are. Please utilize that, especially our young workers. Go check it out. Today's the day to go check it out and see if that's not a place for you. They have 100+ people staying there now. It's plenty of room for our residents to go there. That's all. Just be safe. Make good decisions.
I'm John McCann, the mayor of Hilton Head Island. I also thank the sheriff and his crew for everything they've done, and the county, which has done a marvelous job in putting this together, and my neighbor to the north here, Lisa Sulker, and people of Bluffton. This is a very big storm. It doesn't look like it on TV. This could be a major hit for us. We should not take it lightly. This could be a big thing, and we should always prepare for a big thing, and the best could happen, it was a small thing. Be prepared, keep your neighbors prepared. If people need help, help them. But remember, this is a very dangerous storm, and watch out for the surf coming in and the surge coming in following that along the way. Be careful and take care of each other. Thank you.
Samuel Murray, Mayor of Port Royal. Thank you, Sheriff, and all of those who've done all this good work to get us together and keep us informed what's going on. Town of Port Royal, for those who have left town, stay out of town until it's over with. Those who decide to stay with us, we'll do the best we can to take care of you. Our police department will be available as long as possible. As someone said, there will be no trash pickup. Keep your trash in the garage and so it won't be flying all over the place, your garbage can. And we'll do all we can to help you. Make sure you listen to social media and find out what's going on, and we'll keep you up to date as much as possible. Thank you.
Colin Morton, Mary Embassy. I just want to thank everyone for a job well done, and everything is coming together, and I think everybody's going to obey the orders and get out safe. And I want to mention to the residents of Embassy Heights, Beaufort Housing Authority, they in the evacuation area, and we urge them to follow these directions, which I think they are. So I want to pass that on. Public Works has been cleaning drainage ditches, spillways, and storm water grates to ensure that water-free flow, without no obstruction. And our garbage contractor S&S Disposal is planning on complete their trash pickup tomorrow without any interruptions. And we encourage you to follow us on social media, update through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I appreciate everybody being here, and job well done, like I said. Thank you again.
I told the sheriff he didn't need to hear from the politicians, but I'll be darned if I'm going to be the only one who doesn't speak. As having been here for a long time doing this, I'm reminded of Hugo and this Hurricane Hugo. Most people don't know it, but all of the politicians in Beaufort County went to Bay Point as Hugo was headed straight for us. And we just started giving speeches, and all that hot air pushed her north. We can get more hot air with Big Bradley, our state representative. So as chairman of the legislative delegation, I'm sure that we can arrange transport to Bay Point. I would only say that on social media there's a funny little figure popping around, and it shows October. It would hit us, the timeline, and it goes through the holidays rather than the days. I think that is important because it reminds us of the uncertainty. It reminds us of the uncertainty that we had with Hugo when we were prepared, and Hugo was headed right at us, and it changed. But it also reminds us of the other uncertainties where it changed in ways that we didn't expect and we didn't want. So we can sit back and we can make all the projections we want. We have to rely on the Weather Service. Hopefully they'll, as it comes closer, they'll agree. But if you haven't left, I still say it's safer to leave. I know it's not easy to leave all of your family possessions at home and wonder what'll be here when you get back, but it may just be worth it. City of Beaufort is in good shape. We're working very seamlessly with Colonel Baxley and his team, and of course the sheriff's team. Port Royal we always work with. We are beginning to think about what we do after the storm, trying to make preparations for return and cleaning the streets and stuff like that. But don't take anything for granted. Take it seriously, as the mayor of Hilton Head has said, because we just don't know. Thank you.
Just briefly, you can continue to monitor on the school district website any news or information or updates related to the school district. As you know, everything is closed this week with any meetings or anything like that. But please be safe, children. If you're at home, it's a good opportunity to read.
Neil, you ready?
I am, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Thank y'all. You know, we're going last. The danger is that I'm probably going to repeat something that was already said because I was making my notes before we started. We are, for those that get excited about OPCONs, we remain at OPCON 1. There is a hurricane watch been issued by the National Hurricane Center for Beaufort County. And remember, a watch means that the conditions are likely to occur within 48 hours of that watch being issued. We are under a storm surge watch. Now, that's a new product for this year. It was experimental last year, and it's now an official part of the National Hurricane Center forecast product. That means that we could experience storm surge conditions within 48 hours. And I fully expect the Hurricane Center to change those watches to warnings later this afternoon, which means we are closer to those events occurring. Talk about the storm a little bit. The National Hurricane Center has been dealing with this storm staying in the same place for almost 18 hours now. It's moving as best they can measure it at about 1 mile per hour, so it is beating the daylights out of the Bahamas, and we can expect to see catastrophic damage there after it leaves. As a result of it staying in one place, it has reduced its strength a little bit. It's now 115 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to 140. Sustained wind means that it is blowing at that speed for 2 minutes or greater without let up. So that gives you an idea of what they're facing. For us, we are now, because the forward speed is still so slow, we are now looking at the most likely arrival of onset of tropical storm force winds to be sometime tomorrow afternoon, which goes back to what the sheriff said about whether or not we have this event tomorrow. It's going to be conditions driven. But we are looking for the onset of tropical storm force winds. Now, those are winds that are 39 mile per hour to 75 mile per hour. 39 being, well, we could handle that. We have thunderstorms like that. 75 mile an hour, that's hurricane force. So anywhere in between there will be arriving tomorrow afternoon. The track of the storm has not changed in the last 24 hours. The forecast, the black line forecast, still remains for the center of the storm to pass about 50 miles offshore. but we are well within the error cone, and at this distance, it still has a 100+ mile error. So if that storm begins to move up the Florida coast and it moves 1 degree west, it's right over the top of us. If it moves 1 degree to the right, our conditions will be very minimal through Thursday. And right now, there's no way to forecast that. We're simply waiting on it and preparing for it. Should it stay on the current track, we are looking at 6 to 8 inches of rain with locally heavier in some spots, and we're all familiar with what floods when we have a sudden downpour. We had one yesterday, and we see the low areas that flood. We had some ponding on some roads yesterday briefly in the northern part of the county, north of Broad River. We're looking for 4 to 6 feet of storm surge above normal dry ground. We've been experiencing the king tides, and that cycle is still going on through the middle of this week before it's supposed to stop, but we're not going to see that stop because of the tides being driven by the wind. And we're already experiencing some of that. We'll be out at high tide today taking a look at and trying to get some photographs that we can start putting up on social media for folks to see what we're already experiencing on a blue sky day. To give you an example, 2 nights ago, the water at the Broad River boat landing got up to the restrooms that are established there. It topped over Warsaw Island Causeway, it topped over Eddings Point Road, and a couple of other locations. So we'll be getting pictures of that today to get up on social media, just to give you, again, a blue sky day and what we're experiencing. We are looking also for, again, tropical storm force winds and surge, so we could be facing still a very, very damaging event tomorrow night into Thursday. If you have not left, if you are not comfortable with this event, if you are not comfortable with what you're facing, now is the time to go. That'll transition us into traffic. The roadways are clear. We frankly have not had a huge response. A lot of people have chosen to stay and continue watching. The 278 reversal was lifted last night at 7 p.m. and removed. It is not in place today. Traffic is flowing freely on 278 on Hilton Head, and you can easily get out of the county. One change in what we have been messaging previously, the Interstate 16 corridor out of Savannah and Chatham County has been fully reversed. All lanes are going west. The change is, historically, traffic going south on I-95 would not be allowed to access I-16 west towards Macon. That has changed. It is now being allowed to access I-16 west. We went down there and physically confirmed that this morning because we were getting conflicting messages from different agencies as to what it was. So we sent a deputy sheriff over there this morning and confirmed it is open. The barricades are raised. The I-26 reversal remains in place out of Charleston at this time. Amtrak has ceased all northbound trains out of Savannah. I'm sorry, all southbound trains out of Savannah. Northbound will remain operating today, and then they'll stop northbound as the storm gets closer. But southbound trains out of Amtrak out of Savannah have ceased. As Ms. Jacobs said, the Hilton Head Airport remains open. The Ladies Island Airport, you can land at the field, but there are no services available. The drawbridges. South Carolina Department of Transportation has authority over the drawbridges. We have 2 in Beaufort County, the Woods Bridge, downtown Highway 21 alternate crossing the Beaufort River out of downtown Carteret Street over onto Sea Island Parkway, and the Harbor River drawbridge between St. Helena and Harbor Island. Those bridges will be locked down to vessel traffic, marine traffic, boat traffic at 1900 tonight. That's 7 p.m. So what the DOT will do is they will go out late this afternoon and they will wrap the stanchions with chains and lock it down so that the swing bridges cannot swing open. Vehicular traffic will still be able to cross the drawbridges. I'm going to say that again. Vehicular traffic will still be able to cross the bridges. Marine traffic, vessels, boats will not be able to go through the bridge. It will not swing. And if anybody's got a memory of Hurricane Hugo, you remember the Ben Sawyer Bridge to Sullivan's Island was spun and tilted and dumped down into the inlet. That's what they want to avoid. That's a lesson learned from that. The DNR, South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, is conducting river sweeps today to inform everyone that lives on boats that if you're going to move your boat underneath one of these bridges, you got to do it before 1900 tonight, or you will not. That bridge will not swing for you. As Ms. Jacobs said, the Jasper shelter is open, and Mayor Salka mentioned it also. They had 134 folks over there last night, and the bulk of them were from Beaufort County. It remains open, and that is nowhere near capacity. So if you need shelter tonight, head over to Jasper, or tomorrow night. It is pet friendly. You must bring your own cages, you must bring your own pet food, and you must bring your own leash. But it is pet friendly, and that is a change from years past. The Hilton Head Hospital will be closing at 3 o'clock today. I think Ms. Jacobs mentioned that. Beaufort Jasper Water Authority issued a press release last night, and this remains in effect at 8 p.m. tonight, September the 3rd, 2019. They intend to turn off the water at the causeways leading to the following locations: Bermuda Bluff, Birdfoot Landing, Kalawasi Island, Cat Island, Cushaw Island, Distant Island, Blake Drive, Horse Island Drive, Kingston Key Drive, Myrtle Island Drive, Pine Island, at the Shrimp Shack on the causeway leading to Harbor, Hunting, and Fripp, Tansy Village, and Warsaw Island. Now, they do have a caveat here. Fripp and Kalawasi are not being shut off at this time, but the customers may experience low water pressure. The purpose of turning off these valves is because they cross causeways and the lines are exposed. Storm surge and high winds could damage the lines and cause a leak. So rather than lose a lot of water, they would prefer to turn them off and have that water preserved. What that affects is fire suppression efforts. If there's low water pressure or no water, the ability to fight fires is severely diminished. So keep this in mind. Not only is the inconvenience of not being able to turn your faucet on, but the fire department will be severely restricted in what they're able to do if an event occurs beyond those places. I encourage you, sir. Those are on the Beaufort Jasper website. I was just fixing to get there. I encourage you to go to their website. Stay constant. If you live behind one of these causeways, stay constantly updated because they will be evaluating it based on conditions. But right now, be prepared for that tonight. Other than that, the weather, again, 4 to 6 foot of storm surge above normal dry ground. Winds, tropical storm force winds on set tomorrow afternoon. If the storm is slightly left, we're looking at hurricane force winds in a Category 3 event as it's forecast to pass us by, which is 115 mile per hour and greater, 110 mile per hour and greater. And that would be quite a wallop. We have not seen that in a long time if it gets close to us. Hopefully it will continue to stay 50 to 60 miles offshore, and we'll deal with 4 to 6, 8 feet in tropical storm winds, but there is no guarantee in that yet. That's it for me. Thank you.
You know, when we get past this storm, I'm going to have Neil do some research on storms or years that end in 9 and the storms associated with years that end in 9, because it's not good. If you look back over, back to 1959, 79, 89, Hugo, and here we are 2019. So storms that end in 9, so take this storm very seriously. Everyone knows that we're under an evacuation order by the governor of South Carolina. That started yesterday at noon and will continue until we feel that it can be lifted. Then we'll be dealing with, hopefully not, but we could possibly be dealing with a reentry situation. The storm, Dorian, is still very serious storm. We expect to have some impact here in Beaufort County. We always hope for the best and hope that it goes eastward and not westward. But we're prepared for it. Our staff at the Sheriff's Office and the community as a whole, the municipalities, the county, we're prepared to deal with this storm and the aftermath if we have any. Free movement is still being allowed in Beaufort County. So movement within the county as well as actually out of the county and coming back into Beaufort County is still being allowed, but that could change based on storm conditions. So something you need to be very alert to and conscious of if you're out running errands and trying to finish your last minute efforts for non-evacuation or evacuation, then that's something you need to keep in the back of your mind. we really appreciate those that decided to evacuate Beaufort County, and they did so before evacuation started yesterday at noon, and all during the afternoon yesterday and during the night and as well today. But we still have a lot of people that decided that they would stay in Beaufort County and that are still here and have no plans of any to leave. That's something that that's a decision that they're making for themselves and their families. They need to reconsider and keep an eye on the storm and make sure that they get all the appropriate information as to the dangers of the storm. If you decided to stay and you're not going to evacuate, then starting Wednesday evening, law enforcement will be keeping an eye on you. You have free movement within the county currently, but as we get closer to damaging effects of the storm, we ask our citizens to leave Beaufort County, and it's our job to protect them, protect their property. Our police chiefs are here. We'll be working with each other to make sure that we maintain law and order in Beaufort County. A percentage of those that will watch this particular press conference are those that are trying to figure out what crime to commit next. But I'm going to tell you right now, and understand me, and I'm going to make this very, very clear, we will not tolerate criminal activity. And our deputy sheriffs and our law enforcement and our municipal police departments will be out in force. As tomorrow progresses into tomorrow evening, and we know we're going to start seeing more and more effects of the storm, our law enforcement will be out front and center, and we will be looking at everyone and everything. So if you get stopped, if you're out joyriding, or you're doing things you really shouldn't be doing, law enforcement's going to stop you. We're going to identify who you are and what you're doing, and then we'll move forward from there. We all are operating now under dash cams. We all are operating with body cameras, so all of that footage will be captured. We currently do not have a curfew in place. We're having discussions now about a curfew. We are working with the mayors. We'll make it a county-wide curfew that will be consolidated and impact every citizen in Beaufort County that decided that they were going to stay behind. But I can't stress this enough, and I'll make it clear again. We will not tolerate criminal activity. Having said that, I'll answer whatever questions you may have.
What about emergency services? Those are always the question that people have. If people do stay, are they going to be able to get emergency services?
We are going to do the absolute best we can, even when conditions get poor. We don't use the word retreat. Sometimes that word is used, but our law enforcement, fire, and EMS, we're here to protect our citizens in our county. And if we can get to you, if we can offer aid and assist in aid, then we're going to do our very best to do that. Keeping in mind that if things get in a condition to it's dangerous to even attempt a rescue or to provide aid, those are things that are going to have to be evaluated at that time. These law enforcement officers, firemen and EMTs, they know what they're doing. They do a fantastic job. But we also know where to draw the line as far as we can't do you any good if we can't get to you. And if something happens, that results in an injury of a first responder, then that just takes another person, out of the field. And medical attention and all those things are things that we have to consider. So we have one hospital. Did you cover the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Those are a huge concern not only to every citizen, but to first responders as well. So, but we'll do our best.
Do you have laws in place about price gouging, and can people report that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what would they do if someone's charging them 3 times what a tarp should cost?
Well, to start with, don't buy it. But secondly, are we publishing that number on our webpage?
We can. It's a state number. We can.
This is a state number. But we'll make sure and get it published on our webpage. Bob, you'll look into that too, okay?
Also, do you have a way if or when we lose power and everyone is losing their televisions, their computers, their phones, of communicating with us, the media, and also communicating with the public? What's the plan for that?
That's kind of a broad question, but you know, the question is if we lose power and you lose all access to all your technology that you're accustomed to right now, it's very, very difficult, but we have the ability to go throughout the communities in fire trucks and law enforcement vehicles, and we try to get as much information out as we can. But the loss of all the technology that you just described it makes it difficult to get information out.
Good reason to leave.
Yeah, true.
I mean, Sheriff Neal said it earlier, I don't know if one of you guys, the newest tracks have buoyed a lot of people to say, well, I'm just gonna ride this out and I can stay here the entire time. Previously, they were ready to go. Now they're saying, absolutely, I'm staying. This is nothing that we're gonna worry about.
You know, I think the easiest answer for us on that, because, I mean, it's so unpredictable. If anyone stayed during Hurricane Matthew, this is something you just need to keep in mind. If you stayed in Beaufort County, even upon your return to Beaufort County and you saw the damage that you saw, that was not even a registered Category 1. And if anything, it was an extremely weak one. And this is, right now, the forecast is a strong Category 2, possibly Category 3, on a similar track as Hurricane Matthew. If you saw the damage that Matthew caused, and if you even saw the damage that Irma caused with the surge, and you think you can ride out a Category 2 or a weak 3, you just need to rethink that. You know, it's very difficult to tell anyone that you can't handle this. Yeah, you say you can go without power for 3 or 4 or 5 days. You know, you're good. You've got enough water and food to last you for that period of time. And you may be right for you, but there are other considerations to take in mind. And the biggest consideration that we stress to everyone, you know, Beaufort County it's the population. We have a huge retirement community in Beaufort County, and we all know that medical needs get a little more serious as you age, and not having the medical facilities that's available or the disruption of those services is really what you need to be thinking about and considerations. So not having the availability and the benefit to medical treatment in a very timely fashion in a normal set of circumstances is not going to be that way. It won't be that same, you know, same conditions under storm conditions. So you need to take those into consideration. Families with small children, you know, you really need to think about it. You know, you need to think about your family and not just you as an individual. You as a person may be able to handle most anything, but can you handle a family and meet the needs of a family as well? So, I mean, there's a lot of considerations here. I know this storm has been lagging and, you know, and creating a lot of concern on the Florida coast, Georgia and South Carolina, because it's unpredictability, and, you know, and we understand that. It's been frustrating for everyone. But we're getting closer to being in the game at this particular point, because the storm is actually going to start moving, and it appears it's going to start moving in our direction. So if there's any time to take this storm serious, it's now. And that's exactly how we're taking it, and we will continue to do so through the duration of the storm and whatever aftermath we have to deal with. We'll let you know later today, based on what we know from the National Weather Service, if we will do a press conference tomorrow. If we don't have the opportunity to do one, then Major Bromage will make sure that any information or any new information will be sent out to everyone. I know he's got all that covered, and of course our Nixle. One of the things that we don't have any control of, and I want to apologize to our Nixle customers. We send out a lot of information on Nixle, but our neighbors to the north, Jasper County, sends out a lot of information on their Nixle as well. And I think there's a bleed over to some extent based on phone numbers and zip codes. So you may be living maybe on the Jasper-Beaufort County line, and you're getting bombarded with Nixles from Beaufort and Jasper County. A lot of the Nixles coming out of Jasper County are actually an automatic Nixle from the National Weather Service. So every time the National Weather Service sends something out, and they have their nixles set up to automatically resend, you're getting bombarded with nixles out of Jasper. I got 8 nixles out of Jasper County last night, all during from 12 midnight to 6 in the morning about, of course, hurricane watch and those type things. So there's no control feature in there other than unsubscribe, and we would rather you not do that. It doesn't take but a minute to look at it and just move on to something else. So just want to make sure that our Nixle customers know that we're not trying to inundate you with information that's not important, but there's a reason why the duplication. So hopefully we can live through it. Any other questions, concerns?
Sheriff?
Yes.
The 11 o'clock from the National Hurricane. The 11 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center has moved us to a tropical storm warning. And I told you earlier I expected those to change, but it just changed.
And having said that, Old Faithful, is that right, Billy? Okay. Old Faithful, I mean, he's right, but let me go back and repeat what I said earlier. Make it clear, even though this may be a tropical storm issue right now, we're still in an evacuation, and we will be enforcing our laws and our ordinances within Beaufort County. So, again, thank y'all, and we'll let you know something as soon as we can look at safe travels for an event such as a press conference. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The County Channel is also available on video on demand. Go to BeaufortCountySC.gov, scroll down to Public Meetings, click Watch Now, and then click the Video on Demand button and select your program from the list.
Call the meeting to order.
If you'd like a DVD of this program, click on the link on the right and fill out the order form. And thank you for watching the County Channel.